What it do, y'all? It's your boy Stephen James, and we back up in this thing, man. This is Ballin on a Budget Jewelry, because it ain't nothing wrong with balling on a budget. And today, we're going to do our part to help settle this age-old debate in the jewelry community. What is that debate? White gold versus silver. Which one is better? Which one's the better value? Which one should you be buying, man? We're going to figure it all out as we go through the facts and a few of the myths about each of these. Now, doing this video, I did a lot of extensive research. I learned a lot about gold. I learned a lot about silver. I can't wait to share this information with y'all. First of all, like this video, y'all. But secondly, and most importantly, subscribe. Hit that notification button so y'all don't miss out on the next few videos that I have coming out, because they're going to be dope. They're super informative, and you're not going to want to miss them. Now, with that said, let's get into the video. Now, gold and silver. Wow, these things are like totally different. They both have a lot of similarities. They're really super similar in a lot of ways. I mean, the way that they're mined from the ground, first of all, they're both kind of created the same way under the same conditions. So you find them together a lot, even though, I mean, you know, you have the biggest, deposits in different places. You do find them together a lot because the process of creating them are so similar. But fresh out of the ground, 24 karat gold, 999 or fine silver, they're both pretty resistant to corrosion. Gold, as far as I know, is completely resistant to corrosion due to it not having any iron in it naturally. Silver, on the other hand, I don't know if it contains iron or not, but eventually it does tarnish. Even pure silver under the perfect conditions in the right amount of time, it can start to tarnish. Both of these metals out of the ground are extremely soft. And when I say soft, I mean soft. I mean like take a bar of gold between 4 fingers and bend it. Soft. So, as you can imagine, they're not very practical when it comes to jewelry or in a lot of other things that these metals are used for. So, we turn them into alloys. We alloy them with other metals in order to make them stronger and more durable. So, when it comes to making jewelry and things, it could be more resistant to scratches, dents, breaking, things like that. Gold is typically mixed with copper, but we're gonna talk about white gold. You feel me? Because that's what the video is about. Now, white gold is typically mixed with zinc, platinum, those types of metals to kind of change its color and manipulate it into a white color. Now, while gold is typically mixed with copper, white gold isn't, because copper really reacts with gold and it changes the color into a more reddish color, which is how you get rose gold. We'll get into that into another video. But as far as white gold, things like zinc, nickel, platinum, that's what we use to strengthen white gold and also to kind of shape it into that color that we want it to be. Silver, on the other hand, is mixed with copper, and the reason why silver can mix with copper is because for some reason, and I don't know, I'm not a chemist, but copper doesn't manipulate the color of silver. So it's still okay to mix it with silver and it still comes out nice and white. You get that nice bright white color. Now, with that, because we do mix it with these other metals in order to make them stronger, it does bring in the possibility of corrosion or tarnish or rust, depending on what metal you're talking about. When it comes to gold, mixing it with these different things, it makes them stronger, but makes them less resistant, because the other metals that you mix with the gold, once it's hit with, sulfur, oxygen, salt, things like that, it eventually starts to corrode and rust, and it turns a nasty brown color. You can get it fixed, and with upkeep, you don't really have to worry about it, and it happens over a long period of time. Silver, which is mixed with nickel, which is super prone to rust and things like that. Well, I wouldn't say rust, we're gonna say tarnish. Same thing, once you decide you want to mix it with these other metals, you bring in a possibility for corrosion, which is tarnish and things like that. The elements that you can't really get away from start to work away at these metals, and over time they start to corrode. Now, the big difference with gold and silver is silver tarnishes a whole lot easier, and I mean a whole lot easier, especially depending on the purity of the silver jewelry that you have. The more silver or the more gold, the less prone it is. The more copper and zinc and other metals that you have mixed in, the more, the possibility rises up for your pieces to corrode and things like that. And when it comes to the purities, they're measured in different ways, but they're kind of not, because they're all measured in purities. They all have names. And with those names come a certain percentage of the metal, whether silver or gold. But gold is typically measured in carats. And you got 10 carats all the way up to 24 carats. 10 carat being the least is definitely less than half gold. It's about 42% or something like that. It's definitely less than half. It's in the 40s. Then you got 14 karat gold, which is about, I want to say 56 to 58%. Then you got 18 karat, 22 karat, and all the way up to 24 karat, which is 99.90% gold. That's what we call pure gold. And the higher impurity of gold, so with 10 karat gold being the least pure, it is the most prone to corrosion. With that said, it's also the most durable, and it's also the most resistant to scratches and things like that. Silver, on the other hand, you have fine silver, which is 999 silver. You have sterling silver. You have what is typically known as 80 silver or 80S. And those are the three that we're kind of going to talk about. And 999 silver, that's pretty much pure silver, where you don't have to worry about it. And with that 24 karat gold, that 999 silver, people like to bring these things up in the debate when to me they don't really count. Gold wins in that category just because it is completely resistant to corrosion in its natural pure state. Whereas silver pretty much is, but at the end of the day, it isn't. But it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you're not putting this around your neck. You're not putting this in your ears. This is not what you're going to be wearing. So it's not even up for debate. Like I said, this is metal that you can literally ball up. It's not practical. You're not going to be using it. So let's talk about everything underneath. And it's crazy when you get into it and you kind of sort of get into the science. I'm not a scientist. When you get into it, it's really super crazy. Now, white gold, or gold in general, when it comes to mixing it with these different metals, you got 10 karat gold. Now, that's for less than 50% of gold, and a whole lot of nickel or a whole lot of copper, depending on what kind of gold, but it's mixed with all those other alloys that are super prone to corrosion. With that said, even 10 karat gold still lasts and is a whole lot more durable than 925 silver. Now, 925 silver is typically the standard when it comes to jewelry making. You've got 999 silver, like I said, which you don't really make jewelry out of. You've got sterling silver, or 925 silver, which is 92.5% silver. So imagine you've only got that small percent of alloys, but that small percent still causes it to corrode a lot faster than, the smallest carat of gold. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is why I'm in love with gold over silver. I love them both. I own silver pieces. I own white gold pieces as well, yellow gold. I own it all. I don't discriminate. I love it all. But if I had to pick at the end of the day, I've got to go with gold. Now, and that really just strictly has to do with the durability factor. I'm the type, I love my gold chain. I can take a shower with this thing. I can hop in a pool with this thing. I never have to take it off. I can do whatever I want with it. However, the sterling silver I have, I definitely don't take showers or get in a pool with any of this. I really kind of don't even like when it rains and my pieces get wet, because I'm worried about them corroding. And actually, my watch kind of has a little bit. There's a few spots on it that I know I'm going to need to work on. Got a video coming for that soon. But, the silver just takes a lot more TLC. And for the same reason I choose 10 karat gold over 14 or 18 or anything else, I love the durability factor. I don't really like to take, real good care of things. I want to be able to throw it on if I want to throw it on, take it off if I want to take it off, clean it however often I feel like it, and, not really have to worry about it. And that durability factor is what makes gold more worth buying to me. People could say, you can argue about the price, but that's on you. Do you want to spend more? Do you want to spend less? It's gonna, in the end, when it comes to the resale value, everything is going to be proportionate. Like people say you should buy gold because it's more valuable. When you go to sell it, it's going to, you're going to be able to get more money for it. But, you're not spending gold prices on silver and then selling it for like way cheaper prices. You're buying it for a much cheaper price. So, of course, when you sell it, it's going to, you're going to get less money for it. So as far as that goes, I'm not really worried about that. As far as investments, 999 silver, 24 karat gold, that's really what it's good for. Melt those things in the bars, throw them in the safe, save them up. They're both super valuable. I don't, if you, depending on how much money you're trying to invest into this, I would pick gold over silver because less is more. You can have less gold bars in a safe somewhere than you would have to have silver to, stack up. But, that's not really a big deal to me. Now let's talk about shine. You know what? Let's finish talking about silver because there's another silver that really gives silver kind of a bad rap. Because while I do prefer gold over silver because of its durability factor, sterling silver is just fine. And if you take care of it, it can, it's just fine as long as you take care of it. Now, when it comes to this 80-20 blend of 80% silver and 20% copper, because that's what silver is mixed with when it comes to making jewelry. It's mixed with copper, and for some reason it doesn't change the color. But that 80-20 blend is that's what really, really corrodes really fast. It really tarnishes really fast. A lot of people who get silver jewelry and have these complaints, it's no good, it's going to change colors on you when you get it, and all this and that, that's probably the silver they're getting. Where there's a huge rack of cheap rings and it's real silver. This is probably not sterling silver. It's probably that 80-20 blend, and that 20% really drives up the rate for corrosion on those pieces. So they definitely is something you definitely can't get wet. You don't even want to sweat on. Sweat is enough to cause silver to corrode. The moisture from your sweat, the salt in it, the air hitting it, that's all you need. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to that 80-20 blend, it's changing colors on you super duper fast. So I would definitely really just kind of stay away from that. And if you do get that, just know what you're getting and know what you're getting into. Don't try to make that the rap for silver altogether. It's definitely that 80-20 blend and below that really corrodes fast and really gives silver a bad name. Now, let's move on to the shine aspect. Which one is shinier, gold or silver? Silver, I would definitely say is shinier. I wouldn't necessarily say shinier, but I would say it's brighter. It's whiter. And why I would say that, because the shine on white gold versus silver, they both shine. They both completely shine. What it is that gets people is the actual color of the metal. And white gold is a little bit darker, while silver is a little bit whiter, which makes it brighter, which, it makes it seem like it shines more, which it really doesn't. It is brighter. It's a much brighter metal. It is super bright, one of the brightest on the planet, if not the brightest. But when it comes to gold, it's all really just a preference thing. And it's do you like a darker metal? Do you like a whiter metal? I personally, when it comes to the shine, I prefer white gold, but I do not mind silver at all. And to the naked eye, as somebody who doesn't really know the difference, you're not really going to be able to tell the difference. It's going to take a side-by-side comparison. But I'm telling you, once you see that comparison, it's night and day. I would say that, silver is a more white, really bright shine, really bright metal, whereas gold, it creates a deeper, richer, what I feel is a more mature shine, which I just prefer. As far as what you prefer and what you want, that's on you. Now, with that said, you got some info on it too. You got what I prefer and why. Now, let's talk about some of the myths, some of the misconceptions that float around these two metals. Now, which one is harder? I'm going to go with gold. As an alloy, for sure. Gold is stronger. When you start mixing it with metals to make it stronger and more durable, it's definitely more durable than silver is. Now, with that said, in their natural states, I really can't tell you, because just because it's stronger as an alloy, it doesn't mean that it's stronger as a natural metal. And you know what? I still believe that gold is. But one misconception is because gold as an alloy is stronger than silver, pure gold must be stronger than pure silver, and you can't think like that. Like, this stuff is kind of illogical. Like people think that you mix these metals with harder metals in order to make them harder, but in reality, gold is mixed with copper, so is silver. Gold, copper, silver, all three of these are soft metals. But when you start combining them, they create harder metals, which is just, it definitely makes sense how it works. I just don't know how it makes sense. But it's throw. You take two soft metals, you put them together, you make a hard metal. You take copper, you mix it with gold, it changes the color to a redder color. You take copper, you mix it with silver, it doesn't affect the color at all, it still stays white. So not everything is just something that you can logically think out. And going about that is going to create misconceptions and things like in this video. Another common misconception is that white gold and silver both look exactly the same. They look like the same color because these pieces are plated or coated with rhodium. Now, while rhodium definitely does add to the shine factor, it adds to the color factor and all of that, and it's also used for durability, the color of the base metal still definitely plays a part in the outcome of the way the piece looks in the end. If you take a silver piece and a gold piece and put them close together, you put them through a side-by-side comparison, you'd be amazed. And I'm not going to do it here on camera like a lot of people do because it's stupid, it's pointless. You're not really going to be able to tell the difference. It's really just going to confuse you more than anything. But what I would say is definitely take a look at them side by side, make a judgment for yourself. Another myth around these things is that pure silver is totally resistant to tarnish. And that's just not true. It's just in my research and the research I've done, it takes a lot. It's really, it's one of those virtually impossible things, but it's totally possible. Silver, pure silver, can start to tarnish over time, whereas gold doesn't. They're different in that sense. Another one about silver, 925 silver and sterling silver. For some reason, people think these are different things. These are the same thing. 925 silver, sterling silver, exact same silver. It's the same thing. There's no difference. One last misconception that I wanted to talk about when it came to silver and gold. What was it? Oh, how could I forget this? There it is. Okay, so when it comes to corrosion, and I like to use corrosion because it's more of a general term, but let's talk about the different types of corrosion that occur with these two different pieces. First of all, it's the same. It happens the same way, much like how they're both created. They're both kind of created through the same process. Corrosion kind of happens with the same process. The elements, sulfur, oxygen, salt, water, these things all kind of take effect on the metals and eventually cause them to corrode. Same with silver, same with metal. The difference is what happens in the way these two metals react. One rusts, and that's gold, and one tarnishes, and that's silver. And a lot of people think that tarnish and rust are the same thing, or tarnish is a form of rust. No, tarnish is not a form of rust. Rust is rust, tarnish is tarnish. They are both a form of corrosion, which is the destruction of metal. So that was another really big misconception, that it really kind of doesn't matter because it's kind of like the same thing, but, just to be a nerd, there it is for you. Yeah, but with that said, y'all, that's my video about the debate between white gold and silver, because I personally, when I first started buying jewelry, I got so many mixed signals, so many mixed emotions, so many, mixed reviews, mixed facts. One person would say this, one person would say that. So I had to, be a nerd, go look up some articles and, just do my own research. And I figured out a whole lot. But hopefully I answered a lot of questions that you guys have. Hopefully I've broken some of those misconceptions, some of those really confusing, double truths when it comes to these two different metals, when it comes to these two as far as jewelry. Man, I will see y'all in the next video. Until then, y'all be safe.